Chapter 2, Deep Sea Diving. While you turn to page 15, I'm going to look at the questions and read them so you can be listening for the answers. Why does Ralph like to travel? Why did he, not his fellow divers, get to see the Christmas tree worms? Why does a quiet boy see more in the woods than a loud boy? What advice did Job's friend give him? What value is there in learning to be quiet and experiencing the wonders of God? Chapter 2, Deep Sea Diving. This is a noble magnificence of thought, a true religious greatness of mind, to be thus affected with God's general providence, admiring and magnifying his wisdom in all things, never murmuring at the course of the world or the state of things, but looking all around at heaven and earth as a pleased spectator, and adoring that invisible hand, which gives laws to all motions and overrules all events to ends suitable to the highest wisdom and goodness. William Law. My friend Ralph believes God created the earth. He explores as much of it as possible because it helps him to grasp the greatness and beauty of his creator. He has traveled over most of the U.S., including a cruise to Alaska, visited Africa for a couple of safaris, been to Australia, China, and toured in the Middle East. Each year, he plans a number of trips that expose him and his family to God's handiwork. Though he may enjoy restaurants and museums, his attention focuses upon the land, the waterways, the animals, and the plants. He wants to see the glory of God. It's fascinating to hear Ralph's enthusiasm and excitement as he describes the places he's discovered. One evening, he told me about an underwater diving adventure. He says there's a wonderland. Living under the waves, few men ever experience. With camera in hand, he has enjoyed plunging into the ocean and slowly descending toward the bottom. As fellow divers kicked swiftly here and there, attempting to view it all, Ralph floated upright, as if standing in a bus. His usual style was to place one hand under his camera, bracing it to his chest, and the other behind his back to avoid any foolish moves. Then Ralph submitted himself to the current and drifted wherever it took him. When his diving friends created their own currents by strong arm strokes or powerful finned kicks, the delicate creatures on the ocean floor sensed their approach and hid themselves from these strange intruders. On the contrary, as Ralph quietly floated by, they confidently opened and blossomed. As a result, they offered him a gorgeous show of beauty. One particular creature was the Christmas tree worm. I'd be paying attention. I think there was a question about a Christmas tree worm. When free from fear, they seemed to grow out of the rocks like a 4-inch forest of fir trees, decked out in a rainbow of colors. Any unfamiliar currents send them instantly into holes and crevices. But as Ralph rested in the current, they posed for his camera, unaware that he recorded their beauty for land lovers like me. Nature responds the same, whether underwater or on a wilderness mountain slope. A loud brush crashing hiker may catch a fleeting glimpse of some animal. However, he'll never watch a cow elk nurse her calf or a wolverine sun himself upon a rock. Young boys have a tendency to run through the woods using a stick as an imaginary sword, stabbing and slashing at everything in sight, never seeing the amazing plants and animals all around them. It requires a measure of maturity before they begin to think of anything outside of themselves. Once a young man enters the woods with an eye to see its beauty and quietly waits and watches, Nature rewards him with fascinating experiences, giving him an understanding that there's more to life than himself. Wisdom responds just like nature. The old proverb says, "Blessed or happy is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord." When a man walks quietly through life, flowing with its pace, looking and listening, the whole world opens to him. A quick trip to the gas station may become a lesson in compassion if you watch the attendant patiently help a disoriented traveler instead of spending your time fiddling with the CD player. By quietly asking questions with a sincere heart in a person, with a sincere interest in a person, you'll often discover a beautiful or fascinating heart. If you approached the same individual with the selfishness of running through the woods and whacking everything with a stick, you would hardly even know they existed. People don't open their hearts to preoccupied, fast-paced individuals. They will, to those who make the time, sit quietly, ask gently, and listen intently. I'm not talking about lazing around doing nothing. I'm describing tiptoeing through life, spotting and recording the secret wonders of existence. It's attentively floating along, watching people, their relationships, and characteristics. It's observing actions and their related consequences. It might be watching animals with an eye for beauty and learning lessons from their God-given instincts. All of life opens before the young man, please stop, who will drift through it like Ralph, capturing pictures of sea worms. Suppose it's your turn to clean out the chicken house. One method is to sprint to the pen, dash through the yard into the coop, sending the terrified flock flapping and stampeding into the wire fencing. With a whirlwind of energy, shovel the floor, change the water, re-straw the nesting boxes, hang up a new fly strip, and get out again on one lungful of air. There's a time for speed and efficiency. However, if you spend your whole life rushing here and there, you'll miss the little miracles of life. Here's another look at chicken house cleaning. You briskly walk to the chicken yard gate, slowing as the hens notice you. With the eyes of a trained detective, you look for signs of any predators that may have dug around the fences. At the same time, you observe each bird for physical problems like limps, broken beaks, or any other issues. With the stealth of a spy plane, you glide through the door into the coop. Yikes! A rat in the feeder! You study his sleek fur and whip-like tail. As soon as you see his beady eye, he sees you, and with the squealing of his tires, if he had any, he scatters feet in all directions and disappears through an amazingly small hole in the corner. You plot his demise. The beginnings of a wasp nest are forming above the door. Before they become a nuisance to every egg harvester, you sweep them away with a stick. When the work is finished, you've sensed the state of the coop, taken measures to improve its condition. You may have also seen the splendor of a spider web or thought about the marvel of an egg. The second trip to the hen house may take a few extra minutes to accomplish, yet it offers a deeper experience and an opportunity to gain wisdom. You may not have the time to uncover all the mysteries of the chicken coop with each cleaning. However, if you learn to noiselessly fit into the barnyard, you'll grow in your understanding of life and be a better farmer for it. Some men are called movers and shakers because they storm into places and get things done that nobody else can. Their skill is often using loud and forceful influences upon people and machines. Often, slower-paced folks retreat from these wild strokers and current-making kickers. The quieter ones watch from a distance and gain wisdom by seeing things movers and shakers never will. As you learn to rest in the underwater current and have the ocean floor lay its treasures at your feet? Or as you walk through a forest so quietly that its secrets open before you, you are learning to experience something greater than nature. It's a process God uses to draw you to himself. In an effort to restore your soul, God leads you by still waters. If you've never learned to walk by a water's edge without yelling, tearing the bark off stumps, or whacking the brush with sticks, you won't understand your Creator. There is something about being quiet that opens our way to experiencing God. The psalmist said, "Be still and know that I am God." In the oldest book of the Bible, a friend of Job gave this counsel: "Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God." You won't know God's comfort, his beauty, or his salvation by running through life like your pants are on fire. Quiet, observant hearts gain wisdom and an understanding of God that loud, hasty hearts can never imagine. Just as Ralph delights in discovering the wonders of God by silent exploration, you may experience the joy and delight God gives to those who will slow down enough to receive it. Whoso is wise and will observe these things, even they shall understand the loving kindness of the Lord. Psalm 107:43. Questions. Get your notebook, grab the computer. Make sure you write the date, chapter 2, and put it in your character section. Questions. Number 1, why does Ralph like to travel? Press pause to give yourself time to answer the question. Number 2, why did he, not his fellow divers, get to see the Christmas tree worms? Pause if you need more time. 3, why does a quiet boy see more in the woods than a loud boy? Pause to answer the question. Number 4, what advice did Job's friend give him? Pause. What value is there in learning to be quiet and experiencing the wonders of God? If you need help with these questions, go backwards, look in the book, or listen to this all over again and follow along.